Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. Yesterday, Luke Cage Season 2 premiered on Netflix after over a year of waiting for another season. So today, I'd like to give my thoughts on this season of Luke Cage. This video will be in two parts. The first bit is my spoiler-free review for those who haven't finished it just yet, because I know not everyone watches 13 hours of television in one day, but that section will include a ranking of Marvel's Netflix shows thus far. And the second part will be a spoilers discussion where I talk about some of the surprising developments this season and what I believe they mean for the future of the series. If you just want to watch the spoiler section and not the spoiler-free review, here is the timestamp for that, so feel free to skip forward if you want. If you haven't finished Luke Cage Season 2 yet, I'd recommend you avoid the comments for now, as I encourage those who have to leave your own thoughts and theories regarding Season 2 there. But before I get into all of that, I'd like to give a quick message to my subscribers. I'm so very sorry I've missed a whole 2 weeks here, and I regret to say there's a possibility I won't do a video this coming Monday, but I swear that after that, everything will get right back on track. There are rumors that some sort of Avengers 4 announcement is coming this week. Of course, if there is, I'll make a video on that. And I'm also planning to start expanding this channel's range exponentially very soon. Some stuff I'm planning to start covering is Aquaman, Shazam, Bumblebee, Fantastic Beasts, and this one's a little out of the blue, but Hulu's Stephen King series Castle Rock. So let me know if you like the sound of any of that, especially Castle Rock, because I'm very excited about that series and there are videos I'd like to make about it, but I don't know if anybody in the audience would even be, like, a little bit interested in that. But now, onto the video. Many will agree that Luke Cage Season 1 is 50% fantastic and 50% not. At the halfway point, they infamously decided to kill off Cottonmouth, aka one of Marvel's most intriguing villains to date, and replacing him with Diamondback, aka not one of Marvel's most intriguing villains to date.
I'm the angel of death.
You look like a damn fool.
After that happened, the rest of the season went back and forth between being overly cheesy and just flat out kind of boring. It also didn't help that the season as a whole suffered from a very, very slow pace, which is something that plagues all of Marvel's Netflix shows. But I'm very happy to report that Chio Coker and the rest of the team heard everyone's criticisms for Season 1 and fixed all of them for Season 2. This season is a huge improvement on the first, even down to the pacing, which surprised me. For me personally, it very rarely felt slow or boring. For the most part, there was always something interesting happening. Even so, I will admit that, like all of the others, this season could have probably been about 2 or 3 episodes shorter. But like I said, for me personally, that was never a big issue. Pretty much everything was really great here. The action was well choreographed and a lot of fun to watch, especially those that feature the martial arts prowess of Bushmaster and Iron Fist. More on both of them a bit later on. The acting was fantastic all around. I will admit that I've always found Mike Colter to be a bit one-note at times. When it's time for him to really act, he does that very well. Don't get me wrong, but on the more average scenes, he's a little bit flat. This scene from the trailer is a perfect example.
Just so we're clear, I'm not in the market for a sidekick.
Who says you're not my sidekick?
Me? It's my show.
It's not a great joke to begin with, but his delivery of it makes it fall completely flat. Again, that's just me, but like I said, he's great when he needs to be. By far the best performance this season came from Alfre Woodard as Mariah Dillard. There's one scene later in the season she shares with Gabrielle Dennis's Tilda Johnson that is particularly great. Dennis demonstrates some really great acting there as well. You'll know what I'm talking about when you watch it. I genuinely believe Woodard should be at least nominated for an Emmy or something for her performance this season. It really was very good. Overall, the women of this show is really where it shines. Misty Knight, Mariah Dillard, Tilda Johnson, Claire Temple, sort of, and for the brief time she's there, Colleen Wing, all steal every scene they're in. Colleen and Misty's chemistry as a duo is everything we could have hoped for, and I'm still hoping they might one day get a spin-off series, as unlikely as it is. Another famous duo, Luke Cage and Iron Fist. It doesn't last long at all and is late in the season, but it's just so much fun. Mr. Coker, you're probably not watching this, but if you are, I'd like to personally thank you for finally showing everyone how to write Danny Rand. I'm very, very happy with Iron Fist here. Practically every aspect of his character has been fixed. He has, personality. It makes him a lot more fun to watch, and it also makes him easier to connect with, as he's much more relatable as a character, which bodes very well for Iron Fist Season 2. Even down to the fight choreography for him was much, much better this time, and I think it proves that all Finn Jones really needed was time and an actually invested, not Scott Buck, writer. I'm also happy to say that there are no Diamondbacks this time around. All of the villains in the show are great to watch. As I previously mentioned, Mariah is incredible in this season. She really stole the whole show here. I've been talking a lot about how great she is, but she really was. Shades was great too, a lot better than the first season. In that, he was a fun character, but here he's much more developed, which made him genuinely interesting to watch. Of course, Bushmaster is the new bad guy in town, and he's splendid here. Mustafa Shakir does a great job portraying him. If you're hoping for him to be the next Wilson Fisk or Kilgrave, you might be a little bit disappointed, as I wouldn't necessarily put him on that level. But I don't think he was meant to be. Like I said, Bushmaster is a great character. He was sympathetic, but when he needed to be, he was very menacing. I also loved his fighting style, the way his powers worked, and I loved the way that they explained his powers, like how he got them. They could have just made him another experiment like Luke was. That would have been the easy way to go, but they decided to try something different. They played up his Jamaican origins a lot, which I liked. It made him feel different than what we've seen before, and he's often accompanied by a reggae style of music, which was very unique. The music overall was great, although I will say it wasn't nearly as memorable as some of the stuff from Season 1. As far as criticisms go, I honestly don't have many. Like I said previously, the pacing for me was much better this time, but I will say that episodes 1 and 9 stood out as being a bit slower than the rest of the season, but both still had very memorable moments in them. But yeah, Luke Cage Season 2 was fantastic, one of the best seasons Marvel and Netflix have put out to date. Speaking of which, my ranking for the Marvel Netflix shows, from worst to best, is as follows. Iron Fist Season 1, of course, The Defenders, Luke Cage Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, The Punisher, Jessica Jones Season 2, and Luke Cage Season 2, and then the first seasons of Jessica Jones and Daredevil. I would absolutely recommend you watch this season and let me know what you thought of it. Okay, so now for the spoiler section. This is your warning. If you haven't watched all 13 episodes, I'm going to drop some major spoilers here, so leave now if you're not okay with that. So, if you thought that the ending of Luke Cage Season 1 was bleak, you ain't seen nothing yet. After Mariah forces Shades to slaughter everyone at the Caribbean restaurant run by friends and family of Bushmasters, all of whom are completely innocent, not to mention the customers there at the time who are not even aware of what's happening. After that, Shades decides to turn himself and Mariah into the police. Long story short, by the end, Bushmaster leaves to go back to Jamaica, and Mariah and Shades both go to prison. Mariah ends up being poisoned by her daughter, Tilda, but leaves a will behind. She includes 2 people in it, Tilda and, surprisingly, Luke Cage. She gives Tilda Cottonmouth's piano, and in a big twist, leaves Harlem's Paradise to Luke. This enrages Tilda, which seems to imply we could see her take a more villainous role in Season 3. However, it's beginning to look like the whole hero-villain thing will be pretty irrelevant in the next season. Over Season 2, it's shown that having the power he has and going out and fighting crime every day has changed Luke. He's become more arrogant, angrier, more brutal, and by the end, we see that it looks like Luke is set on a dark path. After Mariah is taken to prison, a huge power vacuum opens in Harlem, leading to a big increase in violence in the streets. Luke ultimately decides that the only way to stop this is to fill this vacuum himself and take control. He hasn't done anything criminal just yet, but at the end he's looking a lot like a Stokes running Harlem's paradise. This is a really surprising turn of events, and I'm fascinated to see where it goes. It seems like Season 3 won't really be about Luke trying to stop some new threat to Harlem, but rather whether or not he can be saved from becoming the thing he's been fighting for so long. This is really fascinating, and it's a great direction to take the show in to keep it fresh and interesting. Much of the original cast is gone now, including Bobby Fish, Mariah Shades, and most surprisingly Claire Temple, which should lead to a very different third season. I was really surprised by Claire's exit. She leaves in, I think, episode 5, but she never comes back. It's said she's at Harlem's paradise at the end when she tries to get to Luke, but she's not actually shown, which, to me, implies that this was a case of Rosario Dawson asking the writers to put in an exit for her. This could very well mean that this is the last we see of Claire. It's sad, but it also feels kind of necessary to bring in a new era of these shows. I was hoping that Luke would cameo in Iron Fist Season 2, especially after Danny says he wants to take Luke to Kunlun someday in episode 10, and he may still. But with his dark turn, it looks like that may not happen. Misty is set to be in Iron Fist Season 2 though. She's currently on the path to becoming NYPD Commissioner, so we could see her have a major promotion next time. All around, I'm excited to see where things go in Season 3, with Luke's dark turn and Tilda's potential one as well. But I'd love to know all of your thoughts. What did you think of the big twists and turns? Would you like to see Claire come back, or do you think this should be the last we see of her? How would you rank this among the Marvel Netflix shows so far? And what do you think will happen in Season 3? Let me know all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.